Hello and welcome back to my podcast, and this episode number 4 I think we're on now. We're still in lockdown as a nation and I'm still secretly quite enjoying it. I hope you're all staying safe and I hope you're all staying out of trouble. So far we've had a couple of very good participants in my little podcast. We spoke with Alex, who is a student, and we got his views and thoughts on how the lockdown is affecting him and how it's affected his education and things so far. Yesterday we spoke with Hannah, who is very actively involved in the local theatre scene, and it was lovely to hear her thoughts and her views on how it's affected her personally and also things that are going on in her life with her production company, and also all the things that she's been kind of working towards in terms of her theatre work. Again, today has been another day where I have not checked the news yet, so I've got no idea what is going on in the world. Well, I've got a pretty good idea. It's a virus, but other than that, I have no idea what is going on in the world, and I'm quite enjoying that as well. And again, today is another day where it's nice to see people sticking to the rules. I've just been out to the chemist to get some necessities, let's just say, and it was like a ghost town. It was literally kind of tumbleweed sort of thing. It was brilliant. But one thing that I'm quite actually amused at is as the day goes on and people start going out for their one government-approved form of exercise a day, I didn't realise how many people actually had dogs. I'm seeing people walking in the street with a dog who I've never seen with a dog before. And likewise, people on bikes. Like, I have never seen so many cyclists. But anyway, what have we got planned for today's podcast? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we did speak to Alex on whatever day it was the other day about his education and things and how life as a student has been affected. Today I will be joined by Karen, who is a college tutor. So we'll be getting all Karen's input and all, how life as an educator has been affected, the things she's having to do differently, the things she no longer can do that she would normally do in the classroom environment. I as well just want to do a massive shout out to a friend of mine. We worked together for a short while and he's done something truly amazing. He did a 24-hour lockdown live DJ set from his house. Now, the intention was to raise a bit of money to go towards his local community to make care packages for the elderly and the vulnerable. Now, £1,000 was his target. He ended up raising over £15,000. So give a massive shout out to Zach Colcutt, DJ Zachy C. Awesome job, mate. Well done. Look him up on Facebook because he goes live every single day pretty much, and he does his live DJ sets and stuff. Truly awesome. Now I'm going to drop another little topic into the conversation just before we introduce Karen. Takeaway, fast food. Surely that has been affected. I mean, I've not ordered a takeaway for probably nearly 2 weeks now. Partly because I don't know if they're still operating. I don't know how they will deliver it for you. Like, they can't knock on your door anymore. So is it a case of leave it on your doorstep, tap on your window, there you go? But I want to hear people's views. Like, are you still ordering takeaway? Are you not? Why are you not? Get in touch. It could be another little topic to discuss on a future podcast. So the time has come to introduce my guest for today's podcast. So hello, Karen. How are you? How is life in lockdown treating you?
It's going all right, Chris. Thank you very much.
Good.
I'm busy trying to teach all my students across the various subjects that I teach at Blackburn College. It's been quite challenging, but I'm sure we'll come on to that over the next couple of minutes.
We will indeed, we will. Well, I just want to say thank you very much for a start for agreeing to come on my new podcast. It's very nice to have you. And you've already just started by giving us a little bit about yourself, but why don't you just tell us a little bit more? What exactly do you teach at college?
Yeah. Well, I teach the photography and media at Blackburn College. I'm only a support teacher on the media, but on Blackburn I teach, on photography I teach the A-level photography, and also BTEC forensic photography as well, and then also UAL photography for level 2 and level 3 certificates, and the advanced evening classes as well, the adult learners.
Wow, so you could say you teach a very wide mix of people then?
I do, yes. So with across various awarding bodies as well. So obviously the A-level, which is normally an exam. I teach the BTEC, which are hand-in assignments, and then obviously the UAL qualification, which is basically activity-based and blog-based. So they basically produce evidence as a result of learning all the techniques and photography skills that they do. So, and they produce blog work on that to basically evidence what they've done.
Yeah. So how are you finding the transition from originally teaching in a classroom to now you're having to teach from home? Has that been a bit of a blow to you?
It has, yeah, because obviously we don't know what equipment a lot of the students have got access to at home. So it's difficult when it comes to setting briefs and tasks for them to do to keep them engaged. A lot of the planned tasks that we had in the pipeline to teach, basically a lot of them have had to go out the window because they would have been set around a studio within the college. So the students would have had access to lighting equipment and studio equipment, cameras and everything, whereby now they might just have access to the phones or no equipment at all. So we're having to come up with new ideas on how they can demonstrate that they can apply the photographic techniques and things like that, media techniques. It might be the fact that we've got to get them to download Adobe Rush on their iPhones or or another form of software that they can produce like the projects on, where normally they'd have been using Adobe Premiere Pro if they were in class for the media students. So it is quite a big change. They've got to learn new software.
I was just going to say, that's that's kind of
it's
different.
massive, yeah. Yeah, it's massive, and not only that, the tutors have had to learn new software. We've had to adapt how we do things. So obviously we're not face to face in a classroom, so we've had to take our classrooms online. So we're starting to use Zoom, which is a new technology for me, and do our tutoring over the internet. We use that in conjunction. Well, I have been using that in conjunction with something called Google Classrooms, and also OneNote on the Google Drive, which is all run by the college. So students can upload the work when they've done it up to these drives, and we can get on there and assess them, and then other tutors can actually go in and basically verify the marks that we've given them, so they can get access. So we're doing a lot of remote work, and it's a lot more time consuming than being face to face in a class. For those people that think that now we've gone out and schools are finished, that the tutor's job is finished, it's not. It's just created a whole lot more work for us in terms of learning new software, and trying to think up new approaches to get out to the children to keep them engaged. Because obviously, if they're only in the first year of their courses, when they go on to the second year, we want them ready to start the second year, hopefully in September, and get up and running. We don't want to delay because of what's gone on.
Yeah, you don't want people falling behind as such, do you? You kind of want to keep carrying on and maintaining that education so that they're ready to go on to the next step.
Yes.
So I guess if you're having to learn new software as well and new platforms and new tools, that's making your job a bit harder because you're having to learn yourself as well. So you might have students asking you how to use something and you don't fully know how to use it yourself, but yet you're having to show people how to use it.
That's right. But there are a lot of online learning tutorials that are actually on the websites for these platforms as well. So I've been directing my students to those. So I've done a couple of them myself to try and get up to speed with the time that I've had in between teaching, and then I'm obviously directing my students to them. So some of the students are far more they pick up IT far more quickly than me.
Yes.
But and they're showing me some stuff as well. So in terms of the IT and what it can do.
So everybody's learning then. Everybody's learning.
Yeah, that's it. It's great. Yes.
So, like, do you think because of all this and so much has changed and it's changed so quickly, pretty much overnight for you, has that added to the pressure? In terms of your stress levels, have they been affected? Have they changed because of all this new things which have been introduced?
Definitely. For the first week, I'd say yes. Now we're settling down and we're learning the software and things like that. I mean, initially it was a big, very stressful. It's how we're going to get that teaching out to the the students, and how am I going to do it? So it's coming up with new ideas, finding and researching new software, learning it just to get on there, see how it works. And then obviously that was my first pressure, and then obviously changing all the briefs so they can actually do them at home, with the limited tools that they have got at home.
Of course, yeah, because you would plan all your lessons like well in advance.
That's right. I normally plan my lessons over the summer that I was going to teach. So for example, I plan during the summer my lessons from September to Christmas, and then obviously I'd change them after Christmas to, once I understood where the students were at, I'd then develop my lessons from, say, Christmas to April, and then obviously April to July when they finish. I'd change them obviously based on my learners and what I thought they needed, and develop them like that. But obviously with us shutting down basically as a classroom, face-to-face classroom, that's been rather difficult because we haven't got the tools and everything at hand. So we're having to think on our feet and come up with new ways of working. It's been a challenge and it was stressful for the first week, but I think things are settling down, and the more research I do, the more I'm finding new techniques and different ways to adapt. So it's becoming less stressful. I mean, we've not got Ofsted obviously coming into the lessons and observing the lessons as of yet, virtually, which may come, may not.
Who knows, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it is an option, isn't it? So, but at the moment, we've not got that added pressure at the moment just while we're learning this.
Yeah.
So I mean, but our senior management's popping in now and again to the classroom, seeing what's going on as a college, so that's good. And we're trying to team teach where we can, or but basically a lot of it is directed study for the learners. So although we might have 1 or 2 dial-ins a week with the students, so we're not having as much contact time with them. We are giving them direction and setting them tasks on the various platforms that they can go away, complete, and then we can come back and mark them and feedback to them. So, but we tend to have like a couple of Zoom classes a week for each class. But yeah, the pressure-wise, it's settling down a little bit now. We're into our 2nd and 3rd week, so I think it's nearly a week and a half for me.
Yeah,
so,
I think,
yeah.
I mean, we kind of mentioned about some people being more tech savvy than others.
Yes.
Young people these days seem to be automatically. It's in the blood as such that they can pick up a gadget and they know how to use it. And I think for those people who might not be as tech savvy, or they might not be as au fait with gadgetry and modern day toys and things, and even more so maybe the older generation of teacher, do you think they will struggle even more to teach from home? I mean, not only have they got to adapt to teaching from home now, but they've also got to learn how to use new platforms and also give support on these platforms as well.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think it applies to older teachers. I think it can be teachers of any age. I mean, we've got younger teachers at school that are not IT savvy,
Yes.
and some of the older ones have picked it up. But I think that can apply to anybody, really. I think that it is a struggle for people who aren't as IT savvy and can't get the head round software and things to enable it. I think those students may lose out a little if they've not got that connection, because the majority of young people, like you said, are IT savvy.
Yes, yeah.
You know, they come up, by the time they're 3, they can work the remote control and the mum and dad's iPhone.
It is
nowadays.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And it is, yeah. And I think that the tutors that don't pick up on the IT and get moving with it, I think those students may be at a disadvantage. But then again, from that point of view, from an IT point of view, not all the children as well. We've got a lot of underprivileged students that attend Blackburn College, and a lot of the students don't have the IT that they can get involved with. So that is really unfortunate. I know the college has tried to make provision, for example, by we were asked to identify all the students that, you know, perhaps didn't have access to IT, and they've tried as much as they can to help, and they've issued them with iPads or something that I'm aware of. So, I mean, the college are doing the best to support the students from that point of view, so to make sure everybody can still do the work and you know, get the qualifications. It is really important to the college that.
It's kind of it's almost been taken for granted as such, and just presumed that everybody has got access to the internet, everybody has an iPad, everybody has a computer, but really, not everybody does. Now, without getting too political and potentially causing a proverbial storm, so to speak, there are many people out there who are no longer able to sit an exam because exams, as we know, have been cancelled. You mentioned earlier that your students don't necessarily sit exams, so it doesn't really affect you as such. But there are going to be thousands of students out there who are not able to sit a final exam for their course. So you, as a tutor, is there any advice that you would possibly want to give to students who might be panicking over the fact of missing out on their exams?
Well, yeah, the exams for students they've been cancelled, haven't they, for GCSEs and A-levels, as far as I'm aware. However, I believe if the students want at a later date that there is a possibility, if they're not happy with the exam results that they're given once they get the grade, I believe there may be an option for them to actually take that exam further down the line. So hopefully, if somebody's not too happy with the grades because of for whatever reason, hopefully that they may get that option.
That's good.
I mean, and I think that's always been the case, but it does depend on the awarding body, I believe, as well. So, I mean, I don't know at the moment what BTEC have said they're going to allow the Pearson group, BTEC group, or UAL at the moment. They've not got final decisions as of yet. I think they're still going through the process of evaluating those. But I mean, the colleges are doing the best to try and use the work that the students have already produced, along perhaps with the mock exams and things like that, and their attendance and things, to come up with an overall grade for a student. And I think that's what they can do. All they can do at the moment is just use the work that the students have already done.
Of course, yeah.
But as I say, I think if they haven't, just repeating myself here, but if they're not happy with the grade, then hopefully they will be able to perhaps resit that at a later date. As for advice for the students, I'd say if they were concerned that they weren't going to get the best grade, and they're thinking they've done a lot more research and work since, while studying and prepping for their exams, I'd say continue to do so, because even if you go on to do your A-levels or go on to do a job, if you continue to study, that that work is not going to be wasted if you're going on
Of
to do
course, yeah, of
an A
course.
level in that subject. So, and it just keeps your grey brain cells
Of
going,
course, yeah, no, of
So
course,
to
of
keep
course.
reading and looking at it. So
That's it. Keep
I
soaking up the
think
information.
just keep trying, just keep soaking up the information and trying to move things forward. And that's what I would recommend. I try not to get too stressed about it because it's nothing that they can change. So
That's it, and it is. It's only a little pause at the minute, isn't it? It's only,
it is a little pause at the moment. Yeah.
nothing drastic is going to happen, and it's a case of we have just currently pressed pause, and it just means that when everything is back to normal, things can carry on and things will carry on, and I think it's just students are automatically very stressed and very worried about everything because the learning and things, and then when they know they've got like this exam looming over the head, and that in itself is very stressful, and then when that is taken away but the result they're left with is, well, you're not able to sit an exam now, that must kind of send the anxiety levels through the roof.
Yes.
So I think it's just a case of just keeping calm and just remembering that it's not the end. Just because you can't sit an exam, it doesn't mean you've got to forget everything that you've been working hard for. You
No, certainly not.
can carry on, and then pick up when all this is over.
Yeah, that's definitely. Just keep learning, keep reading, and do what you can. No knowledge is ever wasted.
Of
And
course,
that's all I'll say.
that's it. That's it.
You can only add to your knowledge, so no knowledge is ever wasted.
So, Karen, just before we wrap up and say our goodbyes, is there anything else that you would like to add to this podcast?
No, I'd just like to say to everybody who's a student, just keep your heads down. Keep doing, if you're having lessons online, just keep attending those lessons. Don't be frightened of asking and contacting your tutors for help or advice. They're at home, yes, but you must have software there. Whether it's even if you just want the phone, pick up the phone and ask them a question. It doesn't matter. It's anything you need to get you through this time. And we've all got to get through this together, whether you're a student, a tutor, whatever. So we've all got to work together. But if we have got access to virtual lessons, then please attend them. Because it is important, and not only that, you get to see your classmates and things like that as well.
So there's still that social thing there, isn't there?
Exactly, and you feel like part of a group because you're a class and things. You can still get access to them. Yeah.
Even though everybody's on lockdown and nobody can go out, we can still virtually go out and virtually get together,
and socialise.
Which I find absolutely amazing. The fact that we're able to do it, and I think I've mentioned it in every single podcast, just how blown away I am just by the fact that you can speak to your mate on the other side of the world, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
super. Thank you, Kris.
No, thank you very much for joining in on this podcast. It's been lovely speaking with you.
Thank you, Kris, and good luck, everybody. Stay safe.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Karen, for that. That input was brilliant. I think we can all agree and say that you just don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and there are lots of teachers and people working in education who are having to drastically change the way that they operate and the way that they work. And it kind of, just talking to Karen there, just opens up your eyes a little bit in terms of the added pressure and the added stress. As Karen said, teachers are actually working harder now than what they would normally do in the classroom because things have changed so much and they don't have access to all the tools and all the resources that they would normally have in the classroom. So my hat does go off to all people working in education, because what is normally quite a tough job anyway is now even tougher because you're having to do it in a different environment. So that is just about it from me for today. Again, thank you very much for listening. Keep liking, sharing, commenting, and all the usual business. And I will be back with you again very soon for another podcast. Who can we speak to next? Get in touch if you want to get involved. I don't mind. We can talk about anything. You can be anybody. Just drop me a message if you want to get involved. I'd love to hear from you. As many people as possible. I want to make this podcast feature and include as many people as possible so that when all this is over, we all have something in years' time to look back on and listen and reflect and remember the time when the nation got grounded by Boris Johnson. Stay safe, keep being careful, and most importantly, keep washing those hands. Thank you very much. Bye for now.